Scott is
With
very
that
diligent.
down, guys, let's move on to this, shall we?
Oh boy.
7 minutes ago, the official review embargo of the full reviews of the new Superman movie lifted, which means full reviews are now free to come out. The first one that I had my page open to, this is the first one I'm looking at. Hollywood Reporter has put out their review. Their headline reads, Superman review, James Gunn gives DC Studios crown jewel a gleaming polish. With help from David Cornsweet and Rachel Brosnahan, Nicholas Hoult co-stars criminal mastermind Lex Luthor, who twists the public opinion to turn the world against the superhero while pitting him against adversaries. That sounds like a pretty good title. Is it a gleaming polish? Good to hear. My friend just wrote to me and texted me and said, let's see, Slant Magazine says this film finally admits that Superman has been a mainstay for nearly a century precisely because he stands for things outside of faddish trends. I like that. I love that. IGN wrote, Superman is a wonderfully entertaining, heartfelt cinematic reset for the Man of Steel and a great new star for the DC universe on the big screen. What else do we got here? Screen Rant has written, James Gunn's Superman movie launches the DC universe in spectacular fashion with a fun-filled ramp that requires refreshingly little homework. And I go over now. And again, I'm not screening these guys. I'm reading these as they are coming in. Right now, the tomato meter has not come up yet because right now there's only 17 reviews. I expect in the next 10 to 15 minutes.
Can I read one of these?
On Rotten Tomatoes?
Yeah, it's a bad review.
Okay, let's get it. Who wrote it?
Donald Clark from the Irish Times. Leave it to an Irishman. The cartoonish closing battles make it clear that not for the first time, Gunn is striving for high trash, but what he achieves here is low garbage. Utterly charmless, devoid of humanity, and as funny as a toothache.
This guy's not well, I mean, look.
He got up on the wrong side of bed,
If
man.
this guy doesn't like James Gunn's other films,
Yeah.
then,
Yeah.
I mean.
I just think that, to me, though.
I thought the potato famine was bad, but man.
I just want to read, because
History humor for
that
you
bad
all.
review, it doesn't really review the film. It sounds like the guy just doesn't like this genre of cinema at all.
All right, well, let's go over and take a look at the Rotten Tomatoes
But these
thing
other,
right now. These are the reviews that we have right now. Latino Slant wrote, Superman is a heartfelt, moving, and relevant film that at times delivers humor while conveying a much-needed message of hope, human kindness, the importance of lending a hand, and the futility of war. Deadline Hollywood wrote, for me, in addition to its strong entertainment value, I see with something to say about who we are, what we are becoming, and what we should aspire to.
Wow, that's
what
good.
Superman should be.
Absolutely.
Something we aspire to. Rolling Stone wrote, Gunn's stamp on the mythology and his use, and again, these are all positive so far. You see the red tomato there, which means it's positive. Gunn's stamp on this mythology and his use of it as a statement of intent for where he wants to take things in his larger intellectual property universe is largely a blast. The popular Mama's Geeky wrote, the perfect introduction to the DCU. James Gunn has nailed it again, but it's really props to the incredible cast for bringing their A game. This movie is something special, bright, fun, and the most comic book movies I have seen in a while.
You got to read the one right below Peter Martin. It's two below, right there.
All right, I'll get to all of them here.
Oh.
George M. Thomas's Akron Beacon Journal says, Gunn has taken a character that needed a refresh and given it one that provides optimism for what's ahead for the DC universe going forward.
And the percentage is up on the thing now.
Is it? Okay, I'll get over to that in a second. We'll keep everybody in suspense.
Sure.
Peter Martin from Dallas Film writes, in short, Superman is the best movie ever made by a co-chair and a co-CEO of any company. I don't know how big that is. For the rest of us, it's a rousing and refreshing experience filled with delightful surprises for comic book nerds and movie fanatics. The USA Today liked it, saying, The movie features pervasive positivity, one really cool canine, and a bright comic book aesthetic. And while this fresh superhero landscape is extremely busy and a bit familiar, it also feels lived in and eclectic.
We just read the Irish Times.
Then the Irish Times, but I want to read it again.
Sure. Look.
The Irish Times. Boy, this dude hated it. He said the cartoonish closing battles make it clear that not for the first time, Gunn's striving for high trash. But what he achieves here is low garbage, utterly charmless, devoid of humanity, as funny as a toothache. Anyway. All right, IGN Movies, which I also just kind of mentioned. IGN Movies wrote, Superman is a wonderfully entertaining, heartfelt cinematic reset for the Man of Steel and a great new start for the DC Universe on the big screen. Film Authority, I know a couple people over there, wrote, it's probably about time that the makers of superhero films started using their powers for good rather than for evil, and James Gunn's old school, entertaining, and politically explosive Superman is far more than just a blast from America's past. In Session Film wrote, it's weird, funky, offbeat, fueled by candy-coated chaos, and populated by oddballs and misfits, unlike anything we've ever seen in a Superman film. It is pure comic book bliss.
Man, that's like something Schnepp would have loved.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
not exactly what you were describing that you want it to be.
That's exactly what I want.
Yeah.
All right. We get to Riotous, who wrote, David Cornsweet is a Superman who'd make Christopher Reeve proud, because this is the superhero we've been waiting for. Proving when DC relies on its stories, characters, and thematic tone, it's in a universe by itself. The New York Times also really liked it, saying, by all of these measures, Gunn's charming take on the Superman myth succeeds. It even won over a particularly superhero-weary critic.
Wow.
That's one of the highest bits of praise you can give a movie, I think. Decoding Everything likes it, saying, the biggest accomplishment of Gunn's Superman is that it restores the heart and humanity to one of our most beloved and iconic superheroes. All right, now we get to the second negative one on this list. This one from The Guardian.
Another UK site.
Another UK one, who wrote, how many more superhero films in general, and Superman films in particular, do we need to see that all end with the same spectacular faux apocalypse in the big city with CGI skyscrapers collapsing? I don't know, give me one of those every day. They're fun at first, but the thrill is gone. Fair enough. I think that's a fair thing to say. All right. Geeky Vibe Nations also liked it, saying James Gunn reintroduces the superhero who has been notoriously difficult to conceive on the big screen with an entertaining and relevant interpretation. Slash Film writes, unapologetically silly, disarmingly earnest, and intentionally corny, Gunn's movie is entertaining, fast-paced, and most important of all, it's fun. All right. Matt Singer from Screen Crush writes, a super breath of fresh air for DC Comics and for superhero movies in general. All right. Now, I am now going to go back and click on the, to get the actual score, because I believe they have a score now. I don't know what it is. Now, just remember, before we put it up, my prediction is 82%. My prediction is 82%.
All right.
So we go over now, and we have 89.
Oh, yeah.
You took the over.
It was 91. It just refreshed to 89 because it was 55 reviews, now 72.
72 reviews. Now sitting at 89%. Go up, go down a little bit. Let's go over and take a look at some more. Let's see. Daily Telegraph. Oh, a good one from the UK.
Okay.
Writes, in a genre famous for feints and teases, Gunn's kitchen sink approach feels refreshingly generous, and his excitement for the character shines through. Comicbook.com liked it. It says, what makes Superman work is the same thing that has made Gunn's other adaptations so beloved as a filmmaker. Gunn is unafraid to embrace the comic book elements at the heart of the source material. And then another UK one that didn't like it. Kevin Mayer from the Times UK wrote, Gunn approaches the nerd sphere's most celebrated property like a giddy amnesiac who has missed the precipitous rise and fall of multi-character Marvel superhero movies and is instead stuck somewhere in the early 2010s.
What does that even mean?
I'm not
The
really-
early 2010s, like what? When the Avengers came out?
That's what I'm saying. He's saying he's
See,
missed
okay.
the boat on the rise and fall of multi-character Marvel.
Here's
superhero
so far, at
movies.
least with two of those three that we read, is that their main issue, and they shouldn't even be reviewing comic book movies because their main issue is comic book movies are over. I'm sick of the genre.
Right.
So I don't like this movie. Well, then don't review genres you hate.
Well, you know why? It's because we defeated them. We're a colony of the UK, and now we're not. They're just mad. It's truth, justice, the American way.
All right. Julian Roman of MovieWeb wrote in the positive review. Say, James Gunn leaves an incredible mark on Superman with an audacious launch to the DC Universe's Gods and Monsters era. David Cornsweet soars as a hero who's both tough and vulnerable, matched by a fantastic Nicholas Hoult as his diabolical arch nemesis. What to Watch, which I believe is a UK outlet as well. I might be wrong about that, but I think What to Watch is from the UK. Anyway, they didn't like it. They said, James Gunn puts his stamp on Superman, but a few standout parts are greater than the sum of the movie that will likely entertain, but fails to truly fly. All right. I mean, I'll take that as a negative
that's
review.
at least
It's going to entertain,
Yeah.
but fails to fly. That's not bad for a negative one. The guys over at Mashable write, and they liked it. They say it's a promise of something greater on the horizon. This is at once fitting for the tone of this new Superman, a folksy, optimistic Boy Scout, and a tremendous bummer for anybody hoping for this to be the next big landmark blockbuster. Okay, so the last one wasn't that bad of a negative one. This isn't that great of a positive one.
Right. It
Still good.
just kicked it over the line for him.
Anyway, so I'm going to go back to the page, but I'm going to refresh it again. It is now at 86 with 80 reviews in. So remember, my target number was 82.
I know.
Yeah.
By the way,
I
you want
said
to
by
know?
the end of this, I said by the end of today's episode, it will be 82.
Do you know what the tomato meter was on, or is on Man of Steel?
51.
57.
57.
Splat.
Yeah, again, Man of Steel, again, still my all-time favorite Superman movie is Man of Steel. And, I mean, to this day, I can't mention how much I love the movie without getting a bunch of comments from people, Superman, Man of Steel sucks. And that's fine. If movies are subjective, if Man of Steel didn't work for you, that's great. I personally, obviously, you guys all know, I love Man of
it
Steel.
too.
I love that movie. So it is what it is. But clearly, this is one that's going over with people better than Man of Steel did. I don't know if it's going to go over better with me.
Right. Sure.
But then again, I don't need this movie to be as good as Man of Steel. If it is as good,
It's going to be very different.
I'm going to walk out. If this movie is as good as Man of Steel, I'm going to walk out orgasmic, like absolutely orgasmic. There's your word of the day. Say that in Pee-wee's Playhouse.
I mean, you might even
69, dude.
you might even get another 50% off popcorn on your way out if you like it that much.
Damn right. Look. I just want this movie to be good. That's
Me
all.
too.
I don't need it to be the greatest superhero film of all time. I don't need it to be better than Man of Steel. I just need it to be good, man. And more importantly, DC needs it to be good. Because this isn't just a movie. This is the beginning of the rehabilitation of DC's image. Because DC's image has absolutely been, and I say this as somebody who's a fan of every single one of the movies except for Birds of Prey and Wonder Woman 84, as a fan of all the other movies, and I say this with love, but DC's image to the movie audience was driven to shit. And the audience completely abandoned DC, and the audience never wanted to go out to see any of DC movies again. They didn't like the way it launched. They didn't like the way it finished. This is step one in the rehabilitation. And they need this movie to be good. They need this to be generally liked. And as long as this movie's good, then I'll be happy.
Empire didn't like it.
Empire was one of the negative ones.
Oh, it's
Yeah.
bumped up to 87
Again, that's
though.
another UK.
I know.
What's
That's-
with everybody in UK? Oh, yes. Okay. So it is now up to 87%. It's gone from 86 up to 87
All
with
right.
85 reviews now being counted. Again, I think it's going to come down, and I still believe by the end of today's show, we'll check in again a little bit later, it will come down and settle right around 82. You're still sticking at 85, right?
Sticking to 85.
You're going to stick at 85.
See where it goes, babe. See where it goes.
So again, this is, right now it's better than I expected. It's better than I expected. Dude, we're going to go see this in 6.5 hours.
Are you going to, Rob?
Yeah, man.
Nice.
Yeah,
see
I managed to dig up a ticket for Rob.
Good. I see it on Thursday.
We're gonna go to dinner. We got a bunch of friends, me, Rob, Ray, Ann, Ryan, Matt Barnard, who you guys have seen on the show a bunch of times,
Yeah.
his wife, Jaylyn. We're all gonna go see Superman tonight. I am positively giddy.
Oh, apparently they're saying in the chat John Roca liked it, and I know that he had been kind of, he'd been trepidatious.
Roca had not been optimistic
Yeah.
about this Superman.
But he liked it.
He
So,
loved it.
Yeah.
Oh, you know what? Somebody wrote to me that last night. Somebody wrote here's a bunch of people who actually really loved it. And yeah, one of them was Rogan. Yeah, he had not been optimistic about this movie. I think one of the biggest surprise one was, I'm going to refrain from talking about that. But let's just say when we were going over Reaction Watch last night, there were a number of reactions that came out from certain people that I fully expected to crap on it and ended up saying this is amazing, this is fantastic, and all that kind of stuff.
You know what? I see a just somebody who follows me on X, a woman. She's also from the UK, and she hated it.
What is with everybody? All the negative ones are coming from the UK. What's going on with that?
It's because they're all coffee drinkers in the movie, not tea, huh?
We want Captain Britain, not Superman.
I guess.
Where is Captain Britain? As somebody who's still part of the Commonwealth, I should be more sensitive to that, being Canadian myself.
I feel like
God save the king and all that.
I feel like the Canadians kind of are leaning towards Superman on this one.
Yeah, again, going to remind everybody, Superman is indeed Canadian, created by a Canadian. Just want to throw that out there. Just putting that out there into the into the metaverse.
The ether.
But yeah, so again, listen. Right now, it's sitting at the last I checked, 87 reviews in. There are certainly going to be hundreds by the end of the day. So we'll see. Again, I'm still sticking with settling at 82%. I think that's where it's going to come down and settle right at that 82% mark. We'll see by the end of the show. Hey guys, thanks so much for watching this video. Make sure you like the video, leave a comment, and subscribe to our channel. And don't forget, we have a daily podcast called the John Campea Show podcast, available on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or your favorite podcasting app of choice. Go and subscribe to it today so it'll be there when you need it.